Hello guys, this is leathertoolz. Today I'm going to show you how to sharpen your flat bottom edger. So if you have edger, there are multiple kinds of edger, and typical case you see for your edger is the one that you have groove at the bottom of the edger. So I already did a lot of video on edger, so you might find other videos, but this time I will show you exactly how to sharpen your flat bottom edger. So if you have a bottom like this grooved one, this video will not be helpful for you. I already did a video on how to sharpen your round bottom edger. For this one I would like to make a little bit detail how to sharpen your flat bottom edger. So to show you the bottom of the edger here is a flat bottom. So you see a not a groove here, just flat bottom. Those here. Yeah. So this is the flat bottom edger. The right one has a bit of patina, the left one is polished. This is the end result that you will get in the end. Yeah. And if you turn it around, this left one, this one is a French edger. This is English type of edger, but the geometry is very similar, and the methodology is very similar as well. And they have a groove, and they have an edge at the tip inside of the groove. Then you turn it, there's a flat bottom like this, and then yeah, so this is what it looks like. I'll talk about it detail at the close-ups. So if you take a look at this edger, they are curved, and they have edge at only the tip of it, and the bottom side is the flat side. So if I just magnify the edger and I just duplicate what it looks like in a very big format, sort of this type of edger, yeah. And then you have the edge consists of groove like this. So you have this groove until about here. So in the manufacturing process, this make it indentation so that they make it groove like this. And then the edge, you have a very slope that you make it into edge. This is flat side, and you sharpen this bottom. So what you need to do, that's exactly what you need to do. So you're sharpening at the inside of the corner, yeah, the bottom side as well, but you need to do this inside curve very sharp first, and then you flatten it from the bottom. I do recommend it not to make this, I call it this toe of the edger, protrude part. I recommend it if it's too long, make it trim down a bit shorter. This is now a bit about optimal length. I say it's about 2 millimeter protrude over the edge is enough. More than 2, say 3 or 4 millimeter, you might just trim it down a little bit. You can file it, or you can just grind it. You can also grind it with a rough sandpaper, but don't be careful with the heat treatment. If it gets too hot, it's very thin edge, very small part, it will get heat up very fast, and it's not good for the edger. It will not stay sharp as long as would you like. So this is what it looks like as a geometry. You need to sharpen inside first, and I'll show you how to sharpen them. So in order to do this, you need sandpaper, high quality sandpaper, waterproof sandpaper. 200 grit is a good start. I will not mention every time when I change sandpaper. I will gradually go up with numbers. So you use a very fine sandpaper at the end, and also polished at the end. Yeah. So 320 grits. Yeah. So, and of course you need your edger that you want to sharpen, and also you need this type of ruler. So for this sharpening, I would like to say that you need a bit of a thin flexible ruler. This is 0.5 millimeter thin one. This is more of a typical ruler. It's a steel ruler. It is a flexible ruler, but then it's not as flexible as these ones. I mean, in order to do this, you need to have a several thickness of proper thickness gauge does fit that gap. But I'm just trying to demonstrate into the ones that you already have, or you might find it locally. So this one is number 1. So to say, it is the thinnest one. You could find number 0 if you want, I think. And also, if you find it 0, you need to find a thin one. I'll show you what it looks like fitting this very thin ruler if I show you on camera like this. So it fits, and it does leave a small tiny gap between the ruler and also this edge like this. Yeah, this is the optimal, because if you use your sandpaper, this gap will fill by the sandpaper. So that's why you need a bit of thinner ruler. If you are using a thicker ruler like this, like a normal thick ruler like this, yeah, so if you fit it, it just fits exactly at the edge. So if you wrap around with a sandpaper, you might widen your edge. You could sharpen it that way if you don't have it, but it's not an ideal way. So it's not an optimal way. But just trying to show you what is really the difference and how thin you should go. This is not the case again. Yeah, this is the case. Yeah, a little bit of gap. So I'll show you how. So first, you need to put your ruler straight like this. And then you place your sandpaper, and you might just want to maybe fold it like this, so that you get a proper groove here and there. So you got proper place to hold on to. Grab with a one hand like this, and then you can just sharpen it like this. So never sharpen on your flat side. You sharpen it with a sandpaper or polishing stone. What you're sharpening is inside this curve. So you flip it like this, and then you just draw. Yeah. Oops. Like this, no? Yeah. You check on your edge, then you go next spot where the fresh edge is, and then you just roll it again. Oops, it's a bit difficult because it's very short ruler. Okay. Yeah. And then a little bit one more time. So I'll show you what it looks like inside. It's quite dark in that group. So at the very tip, I'm trying to show you, at the very tip, you get this kind of slope, like the Japanese leather knife. So you have this type of angle that at the very tip, inside that curve. It's quite difficult to show you on camera, but it's just at the very tip you get this edge. Yeah, so it's going slope down like this. Yeah, so this is what it looks like. I'm continuing to do it. I'm going to increase my grit. This is 800 grit, not yet. I'm going to increase my grit. Next, I'll go with the 500 grit. Yeah, you don't need to go with 400 grit or between that grit, because this grit it's a bit tricky. But you don't need to go every single step. So go roughly about 200 grit. So next will be 800. Will be good. So with the 500 grit, so sharpen it like this. Checking time to time with your bare eye. I was just checking with my own eye how the sandpaper is working inside this groove. Just it's getting sharp. Next, sharpen again. Taking time to time. Yeah, that's sharp enough. Now I need to go just a little bit, one more step. I'm looking for 800 grit. So yeah, here we go. So I move the 500 grit. Now I go with 800. So now finally we go with 3000. But before we go to 3000, I mean, you might have a something between 800 to 3000. So you might want to do it before do this type of final start to polish. I'll find this some. I don't have any higher grit than 800 yet right now, so I'll just jump it to 3000 right now. I think it's polished enough. No? So just So it is now sharp inside this corner, and toe got a little bit longer due to that sharpening, but that will remove it. I will shorten it a little bit and also sharpen the bottom as well. So to sharpen the bottom, I do want to show you all of the things that I have for the flat bottom. This is a block that has been surface grounded, and I put the protection tape on it so that doesn't get damaged. Not everyone has this, so you need some kind of very flat spot. So you might look into your cutting board that is relatively flat, or I recommend this type of precision ruler. They are relatively cheap, they are not that expensive, and also they are quite flat in terms of the surface. You don't need a crazy long surface to do this because you're going to rock a motion so that you get follow this curvature. So if I show you on the sideways again, let's say this is your flat bottom, this is your edger. You want it to create this type of sharpening motion like this. This is what you're trying to do, like this, yeah. So you're honing your flat bottom edge, following your curvature. So you can reuse your sandpaper that you used to sharpen your inner curve. I'm looking for 300 grit. Yeah, so 320 grit. So you just place it. You can use water if you want. Yeah, let's use water. So I'll just some droplets of water like this, and I'll start to on it just to make the sharpenings up much more efficient and less dusty as well. You will not get so much dust in your room. And you check your bottom. So lots of patina has been gone now, yeah. So So enough this, and then you move on to 500 grit. Again, some water. Sharpening with water, without water, there's a big difference. You get much finer result because your metal shavings will not clog up the sharpening papers. It will just lubricate, and then the sharpening sandpaper will last a bit longer, and also it will reduce the heat. And there are a lot of good things when it comes to sharpening. With water, it just makes it whole sharpening easier because of the less friction, and just water just carries away this metal sharpening very efficiently. So you get the results, good results, much better, much faster. So you get this type of result. So just keep doing it. And you know, like I said in the other videos about polishing, you don't want to have the scratches that you had with the previous grit. It's important. So I'm now doing 500 grit. So why I'm repeating this over and over again is that you don't want to have any the scratches that you had from this previous grit. So if you just skip too early, when it goes to really high grit, those deep scratches that you made previously with a very high low grit, they will show up. So you don't want to have that, polished surface. So that's why I go over a bit. Now 800 grit. Let's do this again. This one is kind of small, but it's okay. This is also 800 grit. Since it's a high grit, think about the high grit sandpapers. They don't last as long as the low grit, so they get dull very quickly. So it's better to change the surface of the sharpening much often. Yeah. So lastly, 3000 grit for what I have. I mean, I do have also 5000 grit, but for sharpening about this level, it's not so much necessary because I'm going to polish anyway with a polishing pad. I'll show you how next scene. So just want to finish this with the sandpaper first. Rocking motion. I'm doing this, by the way. I'm just keep rocking it as I push forward, and so I'll just so this is semi-polished bottom. This is what it looks like after 3000 polish, and then now I will polish them with the polishing pad. So this is how you want to buff it. You need a large diameter wheel that matches the radius of the edger, and you need a long fiber buffing wheel so that it gets into this tight groove. On the back side, it wouldn't that matter, but you just need to lightly touch like this while this rotates, and the inside you just need to do it as so that it just follows the curve and it will polish the tip very well. One thing you just need to be really careful is that this thing spins really hot, and this compound will create a lot of heat. So get your water nearby so that you can cool time to time. Just need to buff it lightly, and there should be enough. So this is the final result, what it looks like. Yeah, it's sharpened very well. So let's do this test cutting. So it is sharp, cuts very well. And back side as well. Yeah. Cuts very well. Very consistent. Because backside you need to have it very sharp edge in order to really scarf down clean. So yeah, so that's it. So this is how you sharpen your flat bottom edger, English style edger. So that was it. So hope this video helps you guys. If you have questions, please leave in the comment, and I'll see you guys next video. Bye bye.